Hey guys, what is up? AwesomeTheSauce here. Hope you guys are having a great day and welcome to an extremely unexpected video. So I was gonna keep on covering all the leaked spells that we've been experiencing one after the other, week after week. But today, a completely new pair of spells was leaked, and this could be huge for Wiz. If you guys are unfamiliar, and I will cover all of these, so make sure you drop a sub. So far, we've been given a Scion, 2 different utilities for every school that make that Scion good, an Oni, and a utility that makes that Oni good. We've seen that leaked for every school. That's a total of 5 new spells for every school. So everyone was probably thinking, oh, that's 35 new spells added into the game. There couldn't possibly be more. But wait, there is. Today on Ratbeard's stream, my man's leaked 2 new spells that are completely game-changing. So I thought I'd review them, talk about what this means for the game, review the individual spells. This is gonna be crazy. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So the spell that I'm talking about is a death genie, like a death efreet. So let's look at it. This spell is called a Macabre Jinn, but I think you guys can tell how this one works based on how a lot of the spells we've seen recently work. So basically, it's a 3rd conditional spell, like an 11 pip Scion, like a 7 pip Oni. Now we have a 9 pip spell. Now 9 pips is very important. 9 pip spells, you can see this being used in Exalted PvP, and you can also obviously see it used heavily in max PvP. So I feel like this takes up another niche that we really have not come to expect out of this update until right now. This is a high-end hit. It's a drain for death that literally does double damage, so 675 times 2, which is over, I want to say it's like 1350 damage. All you need to do it is to get 4 blades on you. Now, what I really like about this spell is that, 1, it makes Dark Pact even better, right? It's a spell that literally gives you multiple blades in 1 turn, and they're both usable blades. No other school can do that. It also makes a spell like Spirit Blade even more useful. All you really have to do is Spirit Blade, and then just Blade, and then you're ready to do a whole 1400 damage drain for 9 pips. And that's only scratching the surface because we're only looking at the tools that we currently have when we're talking about the spell. But just like every other spell that's conditional that we've seen leaked, there's an accompanying spell to this Macabre Jinn. Now, first off, I gotta say, the name of this spell that you see on the screen, this is the 2nd leaked spell. It's a great name, Jinn's Larceny. My dude's committing crimes out here, bro. We committing larceny. But this is probably even more, maybe not as powerful as the death utility we saw earlier that literally makes blades into weaknesses, but it is really, really good because it's way better than a steel charm. So what it does, let's say that your opponent is blading, it converts enemy blades into blades for yourself. And I'm assuming what this means is that you end up getting 3 standard death blades. So I would assume you get 3 35 blades at the price of your opponent's 3 blades as well. So not only can you actually set up, right, for a Jinn if you really, really want to, right? But let's say that you're just trying to counter a blade stack, right? If you can end up with 2 blades and you can combo that maybe even with a spell like, you know, Dark Pact or something, you're ready to do a double buffed poison into a shad combo immediately. The amount of strategies that are available with just this spell, even with, let's say this Jinn spell didn't even exist, the amount of possibilities that you could do with this spell are actually insane because this is like a completely new mechanic for death. So now to recap, right, based on all the leaks that we've been given, Death has a Scion that can do double damage drain if you get up to 4 weaknesses on your opponent. It has a Doom Oni that can literally do double damage if you have up to 4 shields on you. And now we have a Jinn that basically does double damage if you have up to 4 blades on yourself. The possibilities are therefore absolutely endless. Let's say you find a game where you end up getting a lot of weaknesses, then you know your game plan. If you find a game where you're getting a lot of shields, you know your game plan. So the fact that there's so many avenues and these are all drain based means that Death's identity is going to be very, very ingrained in draining, and these are going to be powerful drains. You're going to have to be very careful, especially when you use things like blades around your Death with all these new utilities, but you really can't be leaving them super open because if they get a nice drain, not only are they doing damage to you, but they're recovering a little bit as well. So this new Jinn spell, what I love about it is just the pip cost, you feel me? Like right now, if you look at drains, right, let's take a stroll down memory lane. For the sake of the argument, I'm gonna ignore Scion. It actually is a good drain, but we're looking at something like Dr. Vaughn, 720 and an infection for 9 pips. Let's look at rate, 500 for 6 pips. Come on, bro. Right now, drains are so ass because the only time a drain is really good for recovery is when your opponent has a minion out and you do something like a Scarecrow or maybe a Krulu or something, and then you can get a lot. But if you're doing a single target drain right now, drains are very, very weak. I liked the Doom Oni that was leaked a few weeks ago, but it's a 7-pip drain. It still isn't like a huge recovery tool. This is an amazing, amazing spell. This 9-pip drain, it's really, really good. It's a massive drain. It's very comparable to an unenchanted Scion right now. It's around the same ballpark, and it makes sense, right? It's a double damage spell for 1 less pip, except I would argue that compared to a bunch of weaknesses, getting a bunch of blades is actually, it's very easy for a death to do because you don't have to use the blades on the Jinn. As I said, you use the blades on anything that you really want. And speaking about a lot of options, I feel like this brings me to the point. These spells are probably gonna be just as good, if not better, than Shads. I feel like it's actually gonna be more advantageous, not just to overtime into a Shad like we currently see in the meta. I feel like now that we have 3 different conditional options at different pip values, we're gonna see a lot of gameplay centered around getting those conditions met, or trying to get more than 1 condition met so that it's very hard for your opponent to counter everything all at once. I think 3 is a magic number. If your opponent's trying to like, you know, prevent your weakness stack, your blade stack, and your shield stack when it comes to the 3 conditionals that Death has, it's gonna be very, very hard for them to really have control of the tempo unless they really outplay you from the get-go. Now, I also think something very obvious needs to be said here. If Death is getting a new Jinn and a new utility to go with the Jinn, based on what we've seen with all the Onis that we've seen, all the Scion reworks that we've seen, I have a feeling what this means is that every school's also going to get one, and I think it's going to fill more holes in what the utilities that we've seen so far don't really seem to cover. One thing to note about these spells is that they are not going to be enchantable. That being said, because they're conditionals, the damage that they do is still insane for their pip value, but this might be the direction that we see a lot of things going, especially with Shads, especially with a lot of you know, hits. You might only really be using enchants on things like Headless, on things like maybe Scarecrow, maybe things like, you know, Crimson Phantom or something. Maybe things like, you know, drains that you want to throw out when you cannot fulfill a condition. I feel like the role of enchants in your deck are going to be way different. There might even be deck setups where you don't run enchant. I think this is an important thing to note because I feel like there's been a lot of talk about the move away from enchants, and I think conditional spells, especially many conditionals, like 3 for every school, it's gonna make enchants less needed, and it might actually make deck failing less of a problem because you're not always pulling for an enchanted hit, right? If you already have a hit because of the moves that you've made and you don't need an enchant, it's really nice. It makes a spell good on its own. Yes, you still need to pull other spells to fulfill a condition of like something like, you know, the Macabre Jinn, but at least you could argue that you would be setting up for a lot of spells by blading, not just the 1 spell. So I like that there's going to be a lot more synergy with every spell that we use. With the addition of a 3rd conditional, I feel like this is going to be probably the most dynamic meta ever. It also means, right, let's say you get all the 5 spells for every school that's been leaked, add another 2 for the Jinn and the Jinn utilities that I assume every school is going to get, and then you add the Lemuria spells. That is 8 spells, I believe, if my math is correct. 8 new spells for 7 schools. That is 56 new spells this update. This is definitely the biggest spell update we've ever seen. I don't even think that's up for debate. And I honestly think not just for PvP, but the options that they can open for PvE are endless. So I'm really happy that they added another conditional to the mix. Let me know what y'all's opinions are on this specific spell, but you know what I want to know? What I really want to know is y'all's predictions for the 9-pip conditionals that every other school might get based on this. A lot of y'all were really good, surprisingly good at predicting what the other ones were. I think there are patterns in how these spells are designed in the relationships with the schools. There is certainly some of that going on. So let me know what you guys think the other Jinns or the other 9-pip conditionals will be for every school. I'm gonna read every comment, and I'm very excited to see the discussion. What do you guys think of the 9-pip conditionals? Do you think they're good? Let me know in the comments. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Leave a sub if you're new. And as always, if somebody has not told you you're awesome today, they're doing something wrong. Y'all are gonna want to drop a sub because tomorrow I'm gonna be going over all the Onis. I've only covered like a couple. There's many to cover, and we will be doing a full breakdown of it. It's gonna be a big video, so stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys soon on the next video, my about, man. If somebody has not told you you're awesome today, they're doing something wrong. So stay awesome. I'll see y'all soon. And yeah.